Shalom Israel. All praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rahah, Kodash, the one the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace, salutations, and blessings to the elect, pushing the word across the four corners of the earth. And you just look at Esau, because he is the dragon, but you just watch how he does stuff. You understand why they've been given, dragon status, which we know they're a dragon on the left hand, of the wicked, a real serpent. However, as they say, desperate times call for desperate measures. And so when stuff starts to get thin, you have to get creative. You have to have a certain level of prudence and of wit, and that's something that the Lord has been showing me. You have to understand how to think around situations, apply wisdom, because we're going into times like never before. So we're about to see things that, of course, there's nothing new under the sun, but we're about to see a new spin on an old thing, which is basically what we continue to highlight. That's what the MOTBC hip is. It's a new spin on an all. It's a new spin on a brand where now it goes into you and it connects you to the machine. But I wanted to read a little bit of this article, get into a couple of scriptures on buying and selling. I don't know if I said it, but all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Yahweh Shai, Rakakadash, and one to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace, salutations, and blessings to the elect, pushing the word across the four corners of the earth. I'm the brother Shaman out of Great Millstone, Chicago. This is Sirach 27:1. It says, many have sinned for a small matter. And Esau, of course, he didn't went off for a great matter. The scriptures talk about a niggard with money. It says, and he that seeks for abundance will turn his eyes away. And of course they do that. When you look into taxes and how many tax laws it is, and that's something they try to get all these high level people with tax evasion and tax exemptions, and then real estate, and then you get out of this and you're paying for that. Like these Edomites, then you have an estate, so you don't have to pay on this, and these Edomites are masters of that, of getting out. You have certain Edomites who I've read reports where they'll be high end, but they know how to get their income level to like zero, based on exemptions, and then they actually can apply for government assistance and food stamps. Man, we have to make sure we're being prudent. That's one of the four principles of wisdom. Verse 2, as a snail sticks fast between the joinings, and it's all legal. You gotta understand the loopholes and Esau's system, which like in the court system, especially, of course, they can just rule it off. We don't want to honor that. Let thy strength be the law. But a lot of times you can actually find little programs, find little, the mistakes in his system. His system is not perfect by no means. You have to get into that Yaikwab spirit sometimes, man. Well, all the time, but especially now, because we can see what they're doing is putting financial pressure on the people. Verse 2, as a nail sticks fast between the joinings of the stones, so does sin stick close between buying and selling. Exactly. And I just had a couple of examples here. I'm going to read this article, go through a couple of verses. So I'm going to start with Proverbs. I always mess up my scriptures, man. That's okay. I wrote them down this time. Gotcha. All right. Verse 11, 6. Okay, Proverbs 11, verse 26. He that withholdeth corn, the people shall curse him, but blessing shall be upon the head of him that selleth it. All right, and certain versions it says for corn, because corn means a seed. Certain other versions I read say grain, but it says corn in the KJV. Said the people shall curse him, but blessing shall be upon the head of him that selleth. Like, and that's what these Edomites do with a lot of the stuff. They'll these commodities and stuff. Esau has a complete monopoly on the world. That's what they want. Of course, you have. Let me say it like this: that you have private owners, but these mega corporations and they have a monopoly on the real estate market. They have a monopoly on the meat market. They have a monopoly on this market, that market. They have full control over it. Just like somebody who they'll buy up all the corn, and then you might have a commoner or somebody who doesn't have the same status and the same payroll, and they can't do that. So now they want to eat, and this person then bought all the corn and stashed it up. Well, this is gonna be for me. That person, they say, like I said, people shall curse them. It's another scripture that talks about that. When you come to somebody's house, basically to be liberal with your meat, to take care of your guests, to feed people. Yeah, in the scriptures capitalism is there. It's a certain level of capitalism, but it has to be done with the right spirit. I'm gonna read through this article because these Edomites, like I said, they have a Jake talking about all this power and stuff. You don't own any ports, okay? You don't have any international authority in the airports. You don't own any electrical supply companies. You don't own any water supply companies or anything like that. The actual resources of the earth. I've never seen. I could be wrong. I've never seen Jake who owns and controls trade routes. Trade ports. All these big places where they're doing multi-billion dollars worth of business. When you travel, because I've traveled East Coast, West Coast, South, North. You see all these different places. You see all these operations Esau have. You see, like, man, these people really have control over the whole earth. We read through. As concerns swirl of the impacts of steep new tariffs on the U.S. companies and consumers, so let's talk about how certain businesses try to avoid them. Blah, blah, blah. I'm going to skip to the good part. This is a lot of minutia. Companies and industries have several primary methods to get around tariffs, from the expensive process of relocating production. Of course, they could just, these companies can afford that. Well, it's a tariff on this country, send the factory to this country. When they to the more creative approach of redesigning the products themselves. The latter is called tariff engineering, and it explains, among other things, why Converse sneakers are in part with fuzzy fabric. Probably because that certain fabric they can't put a tariff on, more than likely. All right, yeah, buying and selling, man. You have all this stuff going on, and of course you can't. Esau can't catch everything. They can't catch most of it. They can catch certain things, but there's so much stuff going on, so much trade going on here. This is the golden cup, like the scriptures say. There's a reason why they're gonna stand far off, and they hate the whore. These nations, they're gonna turn against the whore, but they're gonna also say, "Man, alas, that great city, we made so much money. You know, these people who are own these ships, they making a killing. It's the reason why Esau wants to automate, and get these longshoremen out of there. They want to automate the ports and stuff. They want to automate everything. It says, while these strategies aren't all guaranteed to work this time around, they offer a glimpse at the behind the scenes maneuvering that companies have used to bring prices down in the past. One strategy is to lobby the government, for example, or reprieve, as the automakers did, which the auto industry, they got away with a lot of shit because I believe Obama just bailed them out. Right? I want to say Obama bailed out the those big companies that helped the 2008 crash too. A lot of people got bailed out with Obama. He was a he was the one of the bankers' best friends, and then he put a lot of those people. A lot of those people got put into his cabinet. Shit, like shit. How did y'all get away with this? Y'all figured all this out. Shit, I could use you in part of my office. All right, that's what you see with Esau. Like Jake will make it popular, scamming and all this bullshit. Look, no. These people scam on a whole nother level. These people are the international frauds and scammers. All right, I'm not gonna get into all that, but all of the shit that Jake think that they have innovated and made cool. Look, Esau did that 20 years ago. You're late. All right. Let's get where's the point at. Here we go. This is a 2024 study found companies that made substantial investments in connections to Republicans before and during the first Trump administration were more likely to secure tariff exemptions, while the reverse was true of those who contributed Democrats. So, which of course, right? All this stuff, man. Esau could pay you the same day. They could pay you the same day. Yeah, we've said it before. We're gonna continue to say it. That's part of the fraudulence, man. They said what? This held back by. Let me just get it. Yeah, James 5:4. Behold, the hires of the laborers who have reaped down your fields, which is of you kept back by fraud, crieth, and the cries of them which have reaped are entered into the ears of the Lord of Sabaoth, right? The Lord of armies, and that such is the case, man. So the Lord hears it, man. The Lord didn't hear it; He just seen it. It's arisen by Israel and Judah. It's also known as the two witnesses. It says, ye have lived in pleasure on the earth and been wanton. Ye have nourished your hearts as in a day of slaughter. These Edomites are living in pleasure. All right, pleasure. Which is why I continue to say you have to be innovative, man. You have to be prudent. And when you go into prudence, because a lot of bros started, everybody starts where they started. You might have started with no job. You might have started with a McDonald's position or whatever low state. And everybody starts where they started, but you have to get clever. Right? You have to take time to research things too. Because there'd be a lot of little stuff and opportunity for somebody who's prudent. Niggas can't necessarily get to it, but when they see that you're prudent, they'll put you in a certain position. They'll certain opportunities. The Lord will, like it says, have your enemies make peace with you, and put you up, in a better position. Have favor on you. Hey, the Lord had favor on me. I when I took a certain test, and I just knew I was gonna fail. Because I did something that was an auto fail basically, and the Edomite had mercy on me. They put me through. I said, damn. I called Yahweh how about Shem I was shy. And I go into this word for prudent, because it also cautious, circumspect, practically wise, Careful of the consequences of enterprises, measures or actions, cautious not to act when the end is of doubtful utility or probably impractical. Yeah, to the bottom, you're wise, intelligent. Proverbs 14, the prudent man looketh well to his going. There's been times where it was a holiday, so Esau got a week, and then okay, I'm gonna pay everybody early. Man, they could have paid you the same day. Right? They could have paid you the same day. I've had positions where you get the job and then they promise you a bonus, and then when we said a bonus, we'll add extra to your check for 6 months, and then that'll add up to the bonus. That kind of shit. That's why people hate you, because you're a nigga. Right? Proverbs 3:28. And sometimes they done this too. They fucked up on my payroll. I had to wait. And I had late fees on shit that I owed. Like, what the fuck? You fuck around and that's why you have to manage your stuff correctly, man. You have to. That goes in the part of getting your house in order, having your stuff managed and maintained to the best of your ability. Yeah, we understand this is hell, but you have to still. You got a box, right? The Lord has given us a sword. He's given us this armor. You gotta, counter. When the forces of Satan come at you, you gotta have a counter. Right? Proverbs 3:27. Withhold not good from them to whom it is due, when it is in the power of thine hand to do it. Right? It's in the power of your hand to do some good. Do it. Unto certain people, the scripture say, careful who you do good to too. Right? Which we know Esau definitely doesn't do. And they'll help you. If they're helping you, it's for some type of tax exemption or some. It's a catch to it. They want to take a picture with you and get a testimonial so they can get a 5-star review with the Better Business Bureau. Some type of gimmick. Right? Verse 28. Say not unto thy neighbor, go and come again, and tomorrow I will give when thou hast it by thee. So here it is. You owe your neighbor, you got it, and you just hold it. Oh yeah, come back tomorrow. What you mean? And that's the setup, man. That's how Esau gets you. The you get paid weekly. Oh, I get paid. Oh man, I get paid bi-weekly. Which they do that to so they can take more out your taxes. And it's not optional. That's just look. This is how we do business. Right? Some gigs I don't know how you do it, but they pay you at the end of the month. Right? All of these little slick businesses practices done by E. And the world's greatest nigga art. This is Proverbs 20:14. Another thing they do. It is not, saith the buyer, but when he is gone his way, then he boasteth. It's another thing that they do, which a nigga do that too. They'll try to shame you for your part. Man, you trying to sell it for that? Come on, man, you gotta come down on your price, and then that's what Esau tries to. What the market value of this? You say you want to sell your home at a certain price or sell this. They'll tell you that whether based on our evaluations, the market value, and then they've done studies where they had a black couple selling their home, and then they came in. There's the adjusters or whatever their title is. Okay, the home is worth $200,000. Then they had a white couple come in. I think it was California. They did that. They had some white a couple come in and pretend they were the owners. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, this home is worth $400,000. Like, oh, wait a minute, man. How the fuck is it? See, that's what these Edomites do in their system. They always undercut you. They do that with cars. They do that with everything. oh no, the market value is this. We're not going to buy it from you. And then, anybody in the position to buy it, you have to have you want to sell cars, you have to have a dealer's license, and then this, and then everything here is based on licenses, man, permissions. And these Edomites have connections, so they can kind of play that game, and they can pick and choose, where they want this business, and if they'll give a commercial license for a business to be here, and that's how they did a lot of the redlining and stuff too. And it says Proverbs 28:22, he that hasteth to be rich, which the scriptures tell us what labor not to be rich. We're not laboring to be millionaires and billionaires. No, we're laboring for the kingdom, because that stuff takes time, and it takes hours out your day. You got to sit up and plan and plot, and then figure out this play, that play. Right? And that's why it's good to have understand credit and knowing how to use credit too. This ain't the 1960 or 1970. You have to have credit to get a lot of stuff you get. You have to have a good name, which that credit system is all bullshit too. But that's the semblance of what that is. You have to have a good name with them, and then, like the scriptures say, pay what you owe, pay your debts, remember your debts. All right, Proverbs 28:22, he that hasteth to be rich hath an evil eye, and considereth not that poverty shall come upon him. And that's basically what's about to happen. We read that particular verse from James 5. Right, it says, verse 5, it says, ye have lived in pleasure on earth and been wanton. Ye have nourished your hearts as in a day of slaughter. Ye have condemned and killed the just, and he doth not resist you. Be patient, therefore, brethren, unto the coming of the Lord. Behold, this husbandman waiteth for the precious fruit of the earth, and have long patience for it, until he receive the early and latter rain. Be ye also patient, establish your hearts, for the coming of the Lord draweth nigh. All right, and what does it say? When thou is in a lower state, be patient when you're in a lower state. Not if you're in a lower state, when you are. So the Lord put us in this position, for a reason. And that goes into fortitude. Grudge not one against another, brother, unless ye be condemned. Behold, the judge standeth before the door. Because, scripture talk about that power. What does it say? Oppression maketh the wise man mad. So it could give you a little bit of which that's good, in a righteous sense. To you should be angry, but you have to watch how you use that, man. You have to watch how you deal with brothers, and scriptures talk about be not a lion, be not frantic over your servants. So it's a balance to it. This man is going to fall. They're going to lose everything. The elect is going to inherit everything from every nation around the world, and all creation is going to be ruled by the elect forever. So with that, I want to say all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakadash, and Shalom to the elect.